episode 3 of the Getting to Know Me series. I am Nicky Watt and I'm joined by my co-host Mark. He is new for this episode, so I'm buzzing.
Hello.
Right, what have you got for me first then? Put me under the pressure right off the bat for episode 3. Let's go.
Well, as we all know, you and the boys have a podcast, 4,000 and counting.
Yeah.
So I thought it'd be relevant. What are your top 5 podcasts?
Ooh, great question. Obviously 4,000 counting's got to be up there. But I'm not going to vote for myself in the top 5. But if you don't already, go listen, subscribe, follow, share, whatever. Right, I'm going to go with one that just missed out real quick. So number 6. Missing Curfew. I wanted to give them a shout out because they were in my original top 5 list, but I've since gone on to listen to some new podcasts and this one just bumped them out. So Bodybuilding and Bullshit. It's on YouTube. It's by a former bodybuilder named Nick Trigilli. He goes on and basically just grills every other podcast, any big story, breaking news story within the fitness and bodybuilding world. He is on it and he doesn't hold back. So I like that.
Sounds right up your street.
Yeah, it is right up my street. Okay.
Right. Go on. What's next?
Number
5.
That was number 5. So number 4 we have the Cam and Strict podcast. Cam has actually been on my podcast way back. He's an all-time beauty, and just listening to him talk shit and literally is hilarious. They get some fantastic guests on. They had Wayne Gretzky on. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, he's an intense guy, Cam.
Oh yeah, he's super intense, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. What a beauty.
Right then. So number 3.
Okay, going back to YouTube for this one, and it is the True Geordie podcast. It is fantastic. He's had some amazing guests on. He is really, really good at his job. He actually is a bit of an inspiration for me. I'm quite new to his work, but all the stuff he does within the boxing, he's now got his True Geordie Extra, which is brilliant. He's had Eddie Hearn on there, Tyson Fury. It's just phenomenal, some of the guests he's had on, and they're amazing interviews as well.
Very good. Yeah, I agree with that. Right, that leads us on to number 2.
Top 2, and I think this is going to surprise a lot of people, but number 2 is Spitting Chicklets.
Okay.
I'm sure a lot of you thought that I would go with that for number 1.
Yeah.
I love Chicklets. They were the inspiration behind the podcast. There's no secret behind that. I think the boys are great. They're doing some amazing stuff. They have some fantastic interviews. But for me, I just dropped something. For me, they were just picked to the top spot by the next podcast. And I think it's the versatility that does it for me.
I know who your number 1 is.
Go. Who's my number 1?
Rogan.
It's Joe Rogan podcast. I used to fucking hate Joe Rogan. Like, I don't know what it was about him. I just didn't like him. Even when he was doing the early UFC commentary, because I mean, I was a UFC fan from way, way, way back in the day when he was like first on the scene and stuff. After Fear Factor and that kind of thing. But then, you know, it's when I started really watching YouTube and getting involved with YouTube and, you know, really like taking it for what it is. And for me, I always just thought YouTube back in the day was like, you know, kids falling off slides and dog videos. Like, I didn't really bother unless there was an ice hockey fight and someone was getting punched in the face. I wasn't tuning in to YouTube. That was the only thing I went on YouTube for. But now with the True Geordie podcast, I know Joe Rogan's now on Spotify. So are we. You can check that out. But yeah, the guests he has on are amazing. The most recent episode, Jocko Willink, he might be one of the hardest human beings on the planet. He also has his own podcast. He would probably be number 7 or 8. He gets a lot of the Army and Marines and SAS and all those type of guys. So that's fascinating as well. But yeah, Joe Rogan, and everything he stands for with the COVID and standing up for himself and standing up to CNN and just the sheer amount of knowledge that I've gained from listening to his podcast, not on the COVID stuff, on a vast array of subjects, because you might have a UFC champion one week and then the next day it's a survivor from North Korea, and the day after it's a professor, and the day after it's an astronaut. It's fascinating. It also made me want to branch out and start interviewing some different kinds of people, because I love the interviewing, I love the podcasting, and it is something that I would definitely like to do in the future. So who knows? Stay tuned. Might have my own podcast coming. But that is my top 5 podcasts. So if you liked this video, little love heart on the post, subscribe if you're on YouTube, leave me a comment, and yeah, we will be back for another episode, which I'm sure Mark's not going to tell me, so there's no point me guessing. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.
Ciao.